Today we'll be having a weight loss workshop. It is going to be a lot of information, but it is just the tip of the iceberg. So there's a lot more to know when it comes to weight loss, but this should be a good start for everybody. So I am Kristen Craig. I'm a certified personal trainer. I have a master's in education. I love being active. I love running. I play beach volleyball. Just doing anything active is my jam. My passion is to educate and train individuals on fitness and nutrition and just healthy living habits. I'm going to start with a very relatable quote. I wish I could lose weight as easily as I lose my keys, my temper, cell phone, pen, and even my mind. If you guys are like me, I lose a lot of those things all the time. So very relatable for me. This is our agenda for today. So we're going to be starting with why lose weight, why maintaining a healthy weight is important, weight versus body fat, how to lose weight, macronutrients, movement, and treat meals was a special request from my group. So we'll be discussing that as well. All right, so first I want to talk about why it's important to maintain a healthy weight. I work with science, so I will be sharing some research studies. I think that's very important. I'm going to start with some facts that we've probably heard some of them before, but I think it's definitely important to talk about our statistics in the United States, especially. 1 in 3 adults in the United States are overweight. More than 1 in 3 men and more than 1 in 4 women are overweight. More than 2 in 5 adults have obesity. That includes severe obesity. 1 in 11 adults have severe obesity. The percentage of men who are overweight is actually higher than the percentage of women who are overweight. And the percentage of women who have severe obesity is higher than the percentage of men that have severe obesity. So maintaining a healthy weight is absolutely crucial to overall health in general. It reduces the risk of chronic diseases. So if you're overweight or obese, it is linked to so many chronic health conditions, stroke, high blood pressure, certain types of cancers, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, the list goes on. If you're at healthy weight, you improve your cardiovascular health. If you have excess weight, then it puts a strain on your heart and blood vessels. Being at a healthy weight enhances metabolic health. So it helps regulate insulin levels. And this goes back to the type 2 diabetes that is linked to being overweight and obese. Being at a healthy weight supports joint health. It boosts your mental health. When you're at your healthy weight, especially if you're being active every day, it really boosts your mental health. It boosts your self-esteem, your body image, your endorphins. So it is strongly linked to mental health. Being at a healthy weight increases your energy, it improves your sleep, and it actually enhances reproductive health as well. And next, I want to get into weight versus body fat. These are two different things, but they're related, but they are two different things when it comes to assessing your overall health. If you are starting a weight loss journey or you're in a weight loss journey, it's very important to know the difference between them and where you stand with each of these two things. So weight is the total mass of an individual. That means everything in your body is your weight, your bones, your blood, the water inside you, the food you haven't digested yet, your body fat, everything is included in your weight. And it's easy to measure, like we've all probably had a scale before or have one, and that shows your weight. So that is the sum of everything in your body. Body fat is the percentage of fat tissue in your body or adipose tissue. It is a better indicator of where you stand with overall health and fitness compared to weight alone. So really, a person with a high body fat percentage has a higher risk of these health issues. If you have been to a doctor's office, you've probably seen this chart before. This is the BMI or the body mass index chart. You can see it has height down at the bottom and then weight. If you're in this range, so if you're like 6 foot tall, you can kind of see where you stand with underweight, normal weight, overweight, and obesity. However, this chart has been around since the 1800s. This chart is not a great way to measure your BMI. This is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The Rock. He is 6'5". He weighs 260 pounds. According to the BMI chart, The Rock is considered obese. So the BMI chart alone does not calculate for muscle mass. That is why it's important to use other tools to measure your body fat percentage. You can find these super cheap on Amazon, but skin fold measurement, it's called the pinch test. So you pinch different parts of your body and it tells you your body fat percentage. And then smart scales, they're a little bit more expensive, but super useful. They can tell you your body fat, and they're available on Amazon too. So two good tools. So the scale is my love and hate tool. Some people have a very toxic relationship with the scale because we get so fixated on that number that we aren't really thinking about our body fat. We're thinking about everything that's in our body. When you start a weight loss journey, you're probably like, I want to lose 15 pounds. But sometimes we get so hyper focused on the scale that we don't think about other things our body is doing to change. If you're doing cardio and strength training, you're building muscle at the same time as you're losing body fat, AKA it makes the scale go slower down. We don't want the scale to drop so fast because that means you're losing muscle and body fat. So the proper way to utilize the scale is just remember that it is one tool out of many tools that you should be using. This is just one thing. You should be using the scale. You should be using a body mass indicator tool. You should be using pictures and you should be doing measurements. You should be getting as much data as possible if you're in a weight loss journey or fat loss journey, I would like to say. Your body, even though the scale is not moving so fast sometimes, your body composition is probably changing if you're doing the correct things, which I'm going to get into. So this is 1 pound of body fat. That is how much 1 pound of body fat is. Can you imagine losing that off your body and then the scale only changes 1 pound? But that's a lot. That's a lot of fat. And if you look up 1 pound of muscle, it's like maybe a third of that size. So that is why the scale is, it's not the only tool we should be using. All right. So I gave you the background info, how to track weight loss, why it's important to be at a healthy weight. Now I'm going to tell you how to lose weight the proper way. So weight loss should be approached in a balanced and healthy manner. Experts think that 80 to 95% of dieters gain back the weight they've worked so hard to lose. I know I did that in the past. I know several people that lost weight and gained it right back. I'm sure you guys know somebody, or maybe even you have done this. But this is called yo-yo dieting. It's because your weight goes down and then it goes back up, and you're not maintaining a healthy weight for your whole life. So types of yo-yo diets that are very common. Maybe you've tried some of these. I definitely have, so don't feel bad. But super low calorie diets. And calories, it depends on what kind of person you are. Like if you're The Rock, obviously you need a lot more calories than a 5'2" female. But super low calorie diets are very restrictive. Keto, there are some health exceptions that make keto a good choice for some people, but for the average person that does not have health conditions, I do not recommend it. Low-fat diets, the military diet, if you've heard of that one, it's a lot. Juice cleanses, etc. So these are very restrictive diets. Most people will follow them, but it's very unsustainable for a lifetime. And they often involve like calorie restrictions or just like extreme unbalanced eating patterns. They're just harmful to overall health. So a lot of these diets, when you lose weight super fast, like the scale drops super fast, it's negative effect on your metabolism. How to lose weight and keep it off. Calorie deficits. I'm going to talk a lot about calorie deficits, but sustainable weight loss, meaning you're going to do this forever, and healthy eating habits, you can achieve this by a balanced diet, regular exercise, and lifestyle change. It sounds so simple, but there is so much to it. But I never want to call it a diet. I call this living a healthy lifestyle. Okay. So calorie deficit. It means that you consume fewer calories than your body expends, aka you're burning more calories every day than you're intaking. So you're burning more through physical activity and bodily functions. Everyone burns calories, even if you just sit there the whole day and don't do anything. You burn calories by breathing, but fitness is a way to increase how many calories you burn. So you can achieve calorie deficit through fitness, through correct portion sizing of your food, lifestyle changes. Proper nutrients are also very important. So most Americans consume a calorie surplus. A lot of us do, and it leads to weight gain. We have fast food everywhere in this country. It's very easy to get to. It is high in calories. We like big food. So we kind of have to train ourselves to learn the correct way to get our nutrients, and that's through a calorie deficit. So this person, for example, they are consuming 2,000 calories, right, through their food, but they're burning 2,500 calories a day. That's through just existing. Plus, this person is most likely working out. So that means they're in a deficit of 500 calories a day. That equals 1 pound of fat loss per week. It takes 3,500 calories of a deficit to burn 1 pound of fat. So, how to know if you're in a calorie deficit? First, you need to know what your daily energy expenditure is, or your basal metabolic rate is the BMR. This is the number that you need to survive. It's the number that you burn on a daily basis just by existing. Most people are burning anywhere from 1,200 to 2,000 calories a day just by existing. That's like without working out or getting steps or anything. So you have to find that number. You have to factor in activity level. So if you're working out for an hour a day, you're burning anywhere from 250 calories to 500 calories, depending on what activity you're doing. So you have to add that in. Then you find out how much food you need to eat. So that number minus 500. There are tools that will measure your BMR for you. I highly recommend getting with a professional to have it calculated, because we have tools that make it much easier. So a lot of personal trainers will have the correct tools. Pretty much all online coaches have access to these tools, nutritionists, dietitians. So I would definitely get with somebody if you need this calculated for you. It's all about balancing calories in versus calories out. Here are some very easy things you can do for beginners. Utilize the plate method. I love this method. There are actually plates on Amazon where they have put this picture on there. So you can buy them off Amazon and actually organize your food on your plate. One of my clients just bought them and showed me, and it's very exciting. And then set a daily step goal. Steps are highly underrated when it comes to burning calories. You can burn a lot of calories by taking steps. It also helps with your mobility over time and helps you for, when you get older. It's good that you have taken those steps. And then set a water goal. Drinking water helps decrease your hunger throughout the day. It's also just fantastic for you. We need to stay hydrated. And then start a workout routine. So 4 simple steps that you can take for a beginner to start your weight loss journey. And I always say this: consistency is better than perfection. We want to aim to be consistent over time. We do not need to be perfect all the time. So if you're following this and you mess up one day, it's okay. It is not going to ruin your entire progress. So you just have to get back on it the next day. I want to touch on macronutrients, although there is a lot more to macronutrients than what I'm going to talk about, but it is important to know the basics and why you need all of them. So each macronutrient is super important to your overall health, and they all have different jobs. Carbs, lots of people are very scared of carbohydrates, but they are not the enemy. They are your source of energy. There are different types of carbohydrates. There are simple and complex carbs. Simple carbs are like the sugars and the starches. So you find them in like candy and whatnot. You want to stay away from those a bit, just because they your body absorbs those kind of carbs super fast. So they actually leave you like more hungry. And that's why you crash too, because they give you quick energy and then they're gone. So that's why if you eat like a ton of sugar, you experience that crash. Protein, the most important thing to get in your body, especially if you're working out. They are the building blocks of everything in your body. They maintain and they repair your muscle tissue. So especially if you're trying to gain muscle, protein is just the most important. And then fats. Fats absorb vitamins. They also act as a backup energy source. And they protect your organs actually. So you have layers of fat around your organs. So it is important to get all three of these. That's why I never suggest the super low carb or low fat diets, because these are all so important for your body. So this represents percentage in your diet. So if you're on a weight loss journey, your protein intake should account for 35 to 50% of your diet. Carbs, 25 to 45%. And you can see there are large variations here. So, it's you have a lot to play around with, really. And then if you're in maintenance, you can have more carbs and a little bit less protein. And then if you're in muscle gain, or if you're an athlete, it is very important to keep fueled. So you want to have a lot of carbs and a lot of protein. That is very important to keep your energy levels up. If you're gaining muscle, you're probably lifting very heavy and you're going to need those carbs. So I have a list here of lean protein, fatty protein, carbs, fats, and vegetables, and the portion sizes of all of these too. And this is a good guide if you want to like build your own meal plan per se. And then you should also incorporate fruit. I just don't have that on this one. But I do have this free, and you can download it and type on it too. It's on my website. So feel free to use that, download it, and build your own plan. Next, I'm going to talk about movement. So daily movement is so important. It's not just important for weight loss, but for your overall health and well-being. Yes, it does increase your calorie deficit. So it's important to move for physical health reasons. Engaging in daily movement helps your cardiovascular overall health, and it strengthens your muscles and bones. So it's important to move every single day. A lot of people start off by thinking you need totally sedentary rest days, but actually it's not the case. One sedentary rest day a week is fine, but it is recommended to take active recovery days and get some movement in on your other days, playing like a low impact sport or doing some yoga. I talk about this all the time, and I cannot stress this enough. Physical activity is so linked to a positive impact on your mental health. It releases endorphins. It is literally a natural like antidepressant. It reduces stress, anxiety, and depression. And there are so many studies that show this. Great for weight management. Obviously, it increases your caloric burn. Longevity. Studies have shown that people who have an active lifestyle tend to live longer, and they have better mobility in their later years too. Increased cognitive function and disease prevention, as I touched on earlier with the chronic diseases. This study states that people who took 12,000 steps a day, which is a lot, but 12,000 steps a day had a 65% lower risk of dying than those who only had 4,000 steps a day. Higher step counts were also associated with lower rates of death from heart disease and cancer. And the benefits were consistent across all types of people, all age, sex, and race groups. And the study also found that overweight participants, so if their BMI was between 25 and 29, it cut their risk of becoming obese by half if they did 11,000 steps per day. So like I said before, steps are highly underrated. They're a great way to get movement in. And the last topic I want to touch on is treat meals. They can be called treat meals, cheat days, refeeding days. They have all kinds of titles. But basically, a treat meal is a planned deviation from your typical diet, right? So let's say you start a weight loss journey. You start with the plate method, or you plan your own meals in that chart that I put out there. It is very important to incorporate one cheat meal per week at least. It is important to incorporate them because they give you a psychological benefit. I think this is the biggest one. It makes it easier to maintain your diet over time. They are crucial to like kind of give you a break from it. Treat meals also provide a metabolic boost. This is kind of newer data. So some new studies argue that cheat meals do boost your metabolism by the extra calories and the different macros because you're kind of shaking up your system from what you're used to. It does train your hormones. So ghrelin is the hunger hormone. Some studies suggest that the treat meal does help train your ghrelin hormone, promotes greater appetite control in the long run. And then my favorite reason, it allows you to live a social life. You deserve to have fun still. You deserve to go out and be social once a week. And I think it's great to save your treat meal for that so you can live a normal life and you don't have to bring your meal prep container to the pizza restaurant. I used to treat my cheat days like I could just eat everything. I probably ate 5,000 calories on my treat days back in the day. But treat meals, they should not be higher than 20% of your calories for the whole entire day. So calculate whatever calories you're eating normally and then find 20% higher than that. And that's what your calories should be on your treat meal day. However, it is important not to calculate macros for that meal. So if you want to eat all the carbs for your treat meal, eat all the carbs, eat that muffin or eat the ice cream. Yes. So what's funny is a lot of newer runners will gain weight when they train because they're like, oh, wow, I'm running so much. I can just eat all the calories. So it is still important, especially for runners, to fuel correctly. So I would definitely get that calculated. And then there's the other hand too, a lot of runners don't eat enough. Running is it's very tricky because you burn a lot of calories and it's hard to track unless you have an actual like heart rate monitor.
And Kristen, it can be said that, even for runners, there's various subcategories. Like someone who's training for a marathon is going to need more fat intake to last the multiple hours than maybe someone who's doing 5K, recreationally.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I know Joshua probably knows more about this topic than I do about fueling during your long runs is also very important. So getting like the correct macros and nutrients if you're running like a marathon, those like little gel packets and everything like that. I think it's important if you are on in the beginning to the middle of a weight loss journey to track your calories and macros. That actually trains you to eat intuitively. So like at the end of your journey, it is much easier because you know your body so well. Because like say you've been on a weight loss journey for a year, you've been tracking for a year, you pretty much know your body. And for me, for example, I can look at a plate of food and now I can pretty much tell you the calories and macros it has on it no matter what, because I just have tracked so many times. That's why I think it's so important to track for a long time until you reach your body goal, because it just teaches you so much and you learn so much through it. But I do think when you reach that goal, intuitive eating is better because you need a break from all those numbers. Within an hour after you work out, you want to have a protein source. So as long as you're drinking the type of chocolate milk that has a decent amount of protein in it, I would say you need at least 15 grams of protein per serving, then yes, absolutely. And I love chocolate milk. So there are different types of vacations, right? There's the cruise trip to the Bahamas vacation. And then there's the I'm going to go see family type of vacation, right? So there's different types of vacations and there's different protocols for what you should do. If you've been on your plan for quite some time and you're going to the Bahamas, it's okay to take a few days off and enjoy yourself. But if you are in the beginning to early middle of a weight loss journey, then it's important to plan ahead. So that's why I said we always make a plan before any of my clients go on vacation, because planning ahead, it keeps you accountable. Even if you plan ahead and you literally plan out all your meals, but then you only stick to 50% of them, it's better than not having to plan it all. So I would definitely say have a plan in place when you're going anywhere for travel and then try to follow it as best you can. I think what you're referring to is your muscle to fat ratio. So, like your muscle ratio is low and your body fat is a little bit higher. With skinny fat, I highly recommend a strong strength training program. Building, you will not get bulky. A lot of women come to me and they're like, "Well, I'm scared to, lift heavy because I don't want to, be like the bodybuilders." That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen unless so many other things are being put into place. So definitely a progressive strength training plan is very important for that.
Kind of related to that, isn't it? And sometimes what maybe disillusions some is that, especially when they go on extremes, they may be getting skinnier, but they don't feel like toned, or they kind of like that skinny fat, so to speak. And there's something about, if you're starving the body of essential things, it's going to make them into fat, because fat is the longer stored energy source, basically, and it might be eating into protein as well.
So if you are not getting enough calories and you're working out really hard, this is something that can happen. It is so important to get the proper amount of calories and fuel your body properly after a workout. It is so important to get enough protein after a strength training workout, because that puts your body into protein synthesis mode and it starts repairing your muscle and building your muscle. So very important. That's where the macronutrients really come into play. Macro timing is important. Lots of people will go to extremes and they'll do super low calorie and they will work out so much. And that's when it does damage to the muscle and you're losing the muscle and not the fat. So proper calories, proper macros. If you want to work out really hard every day, that's fine, but you need the proper fuel and the proper rest too. If you're not sleeping, that's another thing that comes into play. That's a loaded question because it depends on what your body goal is, right? If you are just wanting to slim down, period, you don't care about muscle definition or like muscle loss or anything like that, then obviously cardio is going to be your number one choice if you're just worried about calorie deficit only. But if you are wanting to maintain your muscle and not lose any muscle, then you definitely need to have a weightlifting program in place. Cardio alone will not get you toned muscle look for most women that you want. So men have it a little bit easier than us. But for the most part, you will need a weightlifting program and not just cardio. You should do cardio no matter what, at least some form of cardio each week because of heart health. That's very, very important. It's about priorities. There is enough time to work out. You have to schedule it into your life, whether it's getting up an hour earlier or even half an hour. You can do a 15-minute HIIT workout. There's enough time to work out. There are short HIIT workouts that burn a ton of calories. You can do a short strength training workout a couple days a week, but it's all about your priorities and scheduling it. I work with tons of busy women, single moms, everything. And they get their workouts in because they make them a priority. And your health should be your number one. Okay, maybe your kid should be your number one priority, but your health should be up there, top 3 for sure. So if you're scrolling on social media for 30 minutes at night, you have time to work out.